Good morning and welcome to the morning service of the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person and where we support each other's search for truth and meaning. My name is Kathleen Henry. I'm a member of the worship committee, and I am welcoming you with open arms this morning. We're so glad you are with us. Reverend Kate is on a well-deserved day off, and she'll be back very soon.
Good morning. I invite you to light a candle with me, and in this way, we can feel connected, even though we are apart. We light this flame as a reminder of our mission of being a light in the world, in unity with those who came before us, with whom we are a spiritual family. We commit to the building of a community of free faith beyond geographical limits and personal beliefs. May we be a shelter to all who need it the most. Amen.
Please join with me as we affirm our covenant. Love is the spirit of this meeting house. And this is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Brene Brown, from her Daring Greatly, How the Courage to be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead. Spirituality emerges as the fundamental guidepost of wholeheartedness, not religiosity, but the deeply held belief that we are inextricably connected to one another by a force greater than ourselves, a force grounded in love and compassion. For some of us, that's God. For others, it's nature, or even human soulfulness. I believe that owning our worthiness is the act of acknowledging that we are sacred. Perhaps embracing vulnerability and overcoming numbing is ultimately about the care and feeding of our spirits.
Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to allow the soft animal of your body to love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscape, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, high in the clean blue air, the wild geese are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Once a year in the fall, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown individually pledge what the amount their donation will be to the UUMH for the upcoming year. There is always a flurry of forgetfulness. What did I pledge last year? Have I fulfilled last year's pledge? Which year are we talking about? When we met in person about all this pre-pandemic, April, with her great wisdom, would present last year's information about our pledges on one color paper and next year's pledge form on another color paper. We would still get flustered. It's a familiar part of the process, actually. We laugh at each other about it. So in the interest of clarification, at this time of year, we are asked two things. Have we fulfilled our pledge for the current year? Will we please make our pledge for the upcoming year? Just this morning, I went on the UUMH website and I got confused. I said to myself, the pledge form is already here. Wow, I thought April, so far ahead of schedule. Wait, no, of course. Then I realized I was looking at the current year's pledge form, 2021. The upcoming year, 2022, will soon have its very own pledge form, and it will be entitled 2022. Aren't I happy to personally continue our UUMH tradition of being just a little confused by what year we're actually in when it comes to pledging? You know, in many churches, talking about money and asking for donations is not just difficult, it can be very upsetting. It can bring up memories of fire and brimstone type preachers haranguing congregations to give, give, give. It can be deeply embarrassing for people if money is scarce. It can feel divisive and judgmental, pitting the haves against the have-nots. Over recent past years, I have approached the topic of money and budgets and pledging with all of us by doing some pretty funny things. The year of the 2016 election, I dressed people up as the candidates, remember? We had Bernie, Elizabeth, to name but two. One year, I dressed up like a meteorologist on TV and delivered a UUMH weather forecast for the coming year. In 2012, I put on a string of pearls and did my impression of Hillary Clinton. That didn't do her much good. The year before the pandemic, I think I was Rachel Maddow, if I remember correctly. Anyway, humor helps when you're talking about pledging and money, and metaphors do too. At the UU we ask ourselves to give fully of ourselves to this community that gives us so much. If we are able to give, here comes the metaphor, a full bushel size, then that is our pledge. If we are able to give a full thimble size, then that is our pledge. It matters not the size, be it bushel or thimble, it is the fullness, the wholeheartedness that matters. Wholeheartedness? That's okay when Brene Brown talks about it, but when we're talking about budgets and important, expensive things that need to get paid for, wholeheartedness sounds like unrealistic thinking and a terrible way to run a financial operation that has a steeple to worry about and a historic landmark of a building to keep up and a local community with urgent needs like food insecurity and a payroll that covers the wide-hearted ministry that challenges and strengthens and nurtures us. But wholehearted is the way we operate at the UUMH. We remind ourselves once a year that this community is ours, and we need to meet its needs, our needs. We are the ones who pay for the paint, for the steeple. We support the life's work of our minister, Kate, and April, the administrator of our day-to-day workings. We do what we can to feed the hungry. This community is ours. In the 11 or so years I have been a member here, I have participated in this pledging thing every year. It's when we reflect on what we have received from the UUMH. It's when we reflect on our personal resources and when we make decisions that keep it all alive and able to grow. The first year I was chair of pledging, I asked us to look back at what we had pledged to the previous year to try to increase by 10% whatever that pledge had been. It was amazing how many of us were willing and able to do that. Since then, we've never asked for any percentage at all and never have asked for money per se, often with humor and always with respect and really love. We ask each other for wholeheartedness, for a fullness of spirit, for a wide and deep acknowledgement of how important this community is to us. Years ago, I gave a sermon on pledging and I used the compass as the metaphor. I said the UUMH was our compass. Funny thing, a compass does not tell you where to go. A compass reflects back to you where you are headed, and it shows where true north is. The decision whether to go in whatever direction lies with each one of us. The compass does not tell us where to go. As the compass shows where true north is, so does the UUMH community. The UUMH does not tell us what to believe, nor who our God is. But we learn from Kate and from each other, and we search and discover for ourselves what true north is. Kindness, love, empathy, action for social justice. We take note where we are headed and adjust our progress to best reflect the direction in which we want to head. The compass signals true north. We decide. On the UU website, you will soon find the form for your 2022 pledge. The Finance Committee and the board need to know by mid-October what's in your mind about your pledge so they can adequately plan for next year. If you need a reminder about what your last year's pledge was, you can contact April and she'll remind you. In a way, making and fulfilling our annual pledges is like a vote of confidence in the UUMH. But more than that, sweeter than that, the pledge process is like planting a kiss on the head of a baby or stroking the cheek of an elderly dear friend. It's a promise to be there. Simple and true. Real. So, in a spirit of wholeheartedness and feeling the magnetism of true north attracting us toward empathy and love, social justice, care of Mother Earth, respect for the dignity and worth of all, let us pledge ourselves to share what we can of our treasure and our talents, and do what we can with our wisdom and energy to strengthen ourselves, each other, our community, and the world. Wholehearted. Amen. May it be so.